All right, let's talk some health news now. Scary news out of Atlanta where a hotel had to relocate guests after reports of possible Legionnaire's disease. Connected to that hotel, it's the Sheraton Hotel. They're voluntarily closing until further notice while the health outbreak is being investigated. Legionnaire's disease is a type of pneumonia caused by inhaling the waterborne bacteria Legionella. Symptoms include fever, fatigue, headache, muscle aches, chills, shortness of breath, and loss of appetite. Health officials have said they're working with the hotel to try and find the source.
There are a lot of creatures in the water that are giving people a scare lately.
This morning we learned people about alligators. We warned people about alligators that are addicted to meth.
That is something I don't ever want to encounter.
Now we're talking about something else. Is it safe to get in the water? One of them that we're talking about, high levels of bacteria that can make you, your skin, very sick. So News 19's Rosemarie Beltz is here to talk about these cases of flesh-eating bacteria. We hear about this every time the water gets warm, Rose.
Thanks, Andrew. So the term flesh-eating bacteria and flesh-eating disease actually refers to several different types of bacteria causing necrotizing fasciitis. Simply explained, this infection causes the muscles, skin, and tissue to die. So even though the infection is caused by a group of bacteria, public health experts believe the most common bacterium associated with necrotizing fasciitis is group A Streptococcus, which is actually the same bacteria causing strep throat. One of the first things you should know is there are several different ways you can get it infected. While this bacteria can be found anywhere, it likes moisture. The infection happens when the bacteria enters the body through a cut, burn, or insect bites. Anyone can get the flesh-eating disease, and most cases occur randomly. But those at high risk are people with a lower immune system or ability to heal, like people with kidney disease, diabetes, or cancer. The CDC says it takes 3 to 4 days for symptoms to appear. The skin becomes red, blistered, and painful, and the infection often spreads quickly, and serious complications like amputation are common. So immediate treatment of the bacteria is needed to prevent death, but it is preventable.
This is something that scares the bejesus out of me every time we hear about it. And
I know.
There's always some gross pictures circulating on the internet, but it does happen. And I'm familiar with that Streptococcus bacteria that causes strep throat. If it's the same bacteria, why is the reaction with your skin so different than your tonsils?
So it is the same, but there's different strains of the bacteria. So we have bacteria all over us, right? And strep A is likely in our nose, but that doesn't mean it's the same strain that you can contract by being, in this situation, in this case, a body of water that we're talking about.
So is this sort of infection preventable?
So I did check in with a local vascular surgeon, Dr. Faraz Musa from Prisma Health, just to confirm all this, because I was reading a lot of different information and researching. So it is preventable. The key to it is right, pay attention to those early symptoms, right? And pay attention to those warnings that we hear from our public health officials. I know sometimes we ignore them, but if you are at high risk, you really want to pay attention. Maybe avoid a public pool, whirlpools, or hot tubs, those, open bodies of water and things like that. And use, good wound care, whether that's, waterproof bandages, making sure that
you mean for any little cuts, not if you actually have it.
Exactly, right. So, but to prevent it, right, is to, good wound care and things like that.
Once you get this, because we've seen two different pictures. One was a girl's arm and it was just extremely red and swollen. Another was an open wound. So when you get that at either stage, what's treatment? So
IV antibiotics, sometimes surgery. It really depends how early on that you catch it. As you can see, it can be deadly. And then, of course, after that, if the outcome is favorable, a lot of physical therapy and so forth. So, and also too, when you think about it, gets into your bloodstream, necrotic means dead tissue, right? So, and if it's in your bloodstream, it might not get to those areas that are already infected. So that's why you may lead to amputation, because you're not getting that blood flow.
Yeah. Wow. Rosemarie,
So.
I feel like we needed a warning before this.
I know.
But it's good that people know now what to look out for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not that there's more cases. I know we've been seeing it a lot, but according to the CDC, those numbers are not there's not more
They're not
cases
elevated.
of
You
it.
know what
Exactly.
it is, though? It's the internet
Yes.
scaring the bejesus out of us. And so you
Yes.
wouldn't have seen the girl in North Carolina that got that necrotizing fasciitis. But thanks to Facebook, now we see her.
Now
Yeah.
we see it all.
Yes.
Rose, thank
Now
you.
we're
Welcome.
Stay with us. Meteorologist Danielle Miller has a look at your forecast. Efren Afonte is standing by right now in the Weather Center as well. You're watching Friends at 5 on WLTX.